$15 CR250? What does that even mean? Guys, welcome back. I am so excited for today's video because today is the start of a brand new chapter for not only me and mXrevival, but for all of you guys, my amazing supporters as well. I've got three things I want to attack in today's video with you guys. Number one being that today is the official launch, the official start of mXrevival Monthly. Basically, I've been stockpiling tons of dirt bike parts so that I can build them and give them away to you guys. Now, of course, the giveaways on mXrevival are nothing new to you, but this will be a brand new subscription-based program where not only can you win the $25,000 plus dirt bikes I'll be building and giving away, but every month I'm also going to give away an MX part or prize if a bike isn't ready. So I am so excited for this. I feel like I've been in a cage for the last year. So whether you bring home a badass mXrevival dirt bike build or a set of plastics or graphics, a clutch, a carburetor, a set of wheels, a pit bike, whatever it might be, I've made it very simple. You can head over to mxrevival.com, get yourself signed up for 15 bucks a month, and you will be eligible for everything I just rattled off and much more. In fact, the first 30 people that make it over to mXrevival and punch in code FIRST30 at checkout, you guys will be getting it for 10 bucks a month for the entire next year. Thank you guys so much for everything you've done to support me and the channel. I cannot thank you enough. Item number 2 on the hit list, of course, we're going to be starting those giveaways in today's video. Now, item number 3, today we're going to do a deep dive into your $15 CR250 build. A lot of badass parts and pieces are already here, already finished, already coated, already replaced or rebuilt. And then there are quite a few pieces that aren't so good looking that we'll need to refinish still, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think in addition to going over all the parts and pieces in today's video, we will also go ahead and vapor blast your engine case that isn't yet done. A little bit of contrast for you here. We've got 3 different finishes. We've got absolutely rotten, we've got vapor blasted, and we've got Cerakote. And we'll get into more of those Cerakoted parts in just a second. The color, all of that. Now, a very, very quick side note, if you were an MX Skill Shack member, guys, this is pointed directly at you. And I said were, you heard me correctly. As of today, MX Skill Shack is no more. I'll make it make a little bit more sense later on in the video, but stay tuned because I have something for you guys specifically as well. All right, let's go ahead and kick off today's video officially with a trip over to the bench. I want to show you guys some of the amazing coated parts, the zinc plated parts, some special braking systems and more. So let's hit it. Try not to trip over your CR250 pile there while we make our way over to the bench and check out all of these just absolutely gorgeous parts. Let's dive into this thing. I'm so pumped. Now, of course, everything on this bench belongs to you guys. Go through it quickly. Got to get into some vapor blasting with you guys today. So we'll just start here because this catches my eye immediately. This is all your hardware. It's been refinished. It's got fresh zinc on everything. Get your air filter bolt, linkage, upper lower shock, subframe, swing arm plates, foot peg mounts, brand new foot pegs from Fastway. These things are massive and they look so icy. Of course, your servo motor is fully rebuilt, and Josh over at 3DP Moto and I were working on some replacement parts you can no longer get from Honda. So the little door or cover on the pulley of the servo motor, you guys can get these from Josh now at 3DP. Got to get a nicer screw in there for you guys, but that is absolutely sick. It fit perfectly first try. Thankfully, I had one on this CR before we sent it out. And we'll get into some more of Josh's parts right now. Now, a little bit more unobtainium from Honda. Josh also went ahead and 3D printed these wash flaps. These go right up on the top of your subframe so that when you're washing your bike, water doesn't jet in and land on your air filter. You can get these from him now as well. They fit perfectly. One more, we've got the fuel tank rest. So this sits right above the shock tower and your gas tank sits on this so it doesn't just rub away and have the frame marring through the bottom of your gas tank. Also fits perfectly. And this as well, guys. A couple of years back, I did a CR250, could not find a CDI sleeve. So thankfully, this bike had one. Actually, another customer's bike had one, sent it to Josh. And now you guys can get CDI sleeves for your CR250s, last gen. So very, very sweet. I'm trying to get Josh to make like a package for the CR with front and rear brake lines as well, or brake line guides rather. And sure, she may be old, she may be an 03, but that's not going to stop us from putting some brand new Brembo brakes on that bad girl. These things, if you guys read any of the magazines or have owned a KTM, you know that the Brembo has the best modulation, the best pucker power. Went ahead and took the anodizing off that hanger. It was black, so we could match the rear hanger, which is vapor blasted. Unreal, more zinc plated hardware. Of course, Brembo master cylinder. What's special about that is it's not the standard 10 millimeter bore. It's a 9 millimeter bore, so you're going to get even more modulation out of that bad boy. Rear master cylinder parts, all zinced up, all vapor blasted. We'll get a fresh sight glass pressed into that for you guys. Went ahead and used some of Cameron's Prime MX pads. Gave that a deep brush look, then a light brush look, then a SOS pad finish. Got a zinc plated OEM pedal tip there and a serviceable bolt. Now it's not a big old rivet anymore, so that's just a M6. Got some black zinc on your spring. Now Dino over at Fast Blast & Coat did his very best to match this, and in the right light, it's a perfect match. This thing has sort of a greenish, iridescent kind of a hue to it, which is hard to match, but this is going to look killer. So we've got this color dialed in if you guys need it as well for whatever it may be. More zinc plated hardware in there. Looks incredible. Way better than stock. More vapor blasted engine hangers. SOS pad treatment afterwards. Zinc plated hardware everywhere you look. Same with the throttle housing. Same with the linkage system here. Probably go ahead and do another step further and get that casting flash off. But in the meantime, it did come up quite nice. There's a few dents and dings I'd like to get out of there as well, but should look killer. Of course, we've got some coated parts here, again from Dino at Fast Blast & Coat. This color is called Midnight Bronze. I love using it on Kawasaki's actually. It's really close to that 05, 06, 07 Kawi color, but this is going to look quite factory on the Honda. Of course, another zinc plated washer. Got some OEM triple clamps here for you guys. Tony actually left these behind when Skill Shack closed. Again, I'll make that make more sense later. And again, Midnight Bronze. Got the spot there for your little Honda wing logo, which you guys can still get on OEM Microfiche. Same with the bottoms. I think these are Ronnie Feist's OEM clamps is what Tony said. So that's kind of a cool little piece of history, and I appreciate him leaving those behind. My man Steve-O. Steve from Huga Performance Exhaust already made you guys a handmade cone pipe. This is going on your bike. Unbelievable. High craftsmanship. Handmade coner. What build does it not look good on? Steve-O, thank you for this. I sent Steve a CR250 silencer recently, so he told me no promises, but how cool would that be to have a complete Huga setup front and rear? You guys got to get on his ass about that. Now this is what I want to work on with you guys today. We have 3 levels of what you want to call it here. You got the burnt bronze, which looks killer. You've got vapor blast, which also looks killer, and then you have shit. It looks so terrible. So this is what we will be working on today, guys. It's already been de-oiled. It's been through the ultrasonic cleaner, which, if I'm being honest, actually makes the surface finish, the dirt that's still there, look even worse. But I don't mind it for the contrast because it's quite the contrast. Still got some spooge on the front of there we'll need to scrape off. So we'll get that in the vapor blast cabinet in just a minute. Other than that, your radiators, which are OEM, by the way, thank God we were able to save them. These guys went out to my boy Brett at ICW Radiator. He did something a little bit different. He didn't do the bars or cages straight across. He sort of triangulated them, as you can see. Nice to have some OEM radiators. Subframe, already anodizing stripped, already vapor blasted, and it's looking fresh, ready to go. It's nice and straight. Got some frame tape from Corey. This stuff, it just looks so factory. As you guys know, you watch Supercross and you see the photos from Motocross Action, etc. Very nice factory look for your aluminum frame bike, or really any model Corey covers. Thank you, buddy. All right, let's hop into this heap of parts on the floor as we make our way across the hall here. Here's your frame. I spent hours and hours and hours and hours getting the dents and dings out of this thing with some rotary tools. Same with the swing arm here. As you can see, I'm not finished, but this thing was absolutely pitiful. The chain had gone through it at one point and ate through... Let's see, what side are we on here? The bottom there. So we had some material added back in. Forks. Man, that's unfortunate, eh? That's what happens when you guys lose your guide ring and you just keep on riding your bike. So these were the original forks. I picked up a set of newer 05, 06 CRF forks off of Marketplace. So the tubes look really good. They don't need a refinish, it would appear. If they need it, so be it. But everything looks good throughout. Problem here is that the brake caliper hanger, which can probably be swapped, is smaller, or the lug is smaller than the old school one, which is what I need for the Brembo brake right now. But if we can do sort of a combo, maybe get those lugs cleaned up, use these upper tubes and these inner cartridges, the hex tops here, they look really good compared to these. Have some some big old chunks taken out of them from handlebars or God knows what, so we'll get that rectified. Had some material added back into your Kickstarter as well, so we can get that little strike pad back on there where it comes down and hits the foot peg. Another little nibble that was missing, and spent a lot of time reshaping and re-squaring. Down, you guys can see that arrow right there. These get just marred over time, so that's already been zinc plated, as you can see. But I've got the Kickstarter pretty square in the pocket again, and just need to spend some time with Cameron's pads, kind of taking away those rough edges. So has a nice stop now, which is really great. So airbox, this will go out to Uncle Phil at Plastic Renovations. It's already been opened up, ultrasonic cleaned. It's a big turd. He's going to transform it. You guys will not even recognize it. So stay tuned for future episodes. When this thing comes back, it's going to blow your mind, and you'll know where to send your plastics for refurb. Last thing, we got this crusty ass shock, although it's all there and it's not missing any teeth. Doesn't look like it was doing drugs like the rest of the bike, but need to get these off, get those inked, some custom coatings. You guys know the drill. All right, let's hop on over to the other side of the shop. Got a little bit of a roadblock here, guys. mXrevival Monthly, I mentioned at the top of this video. I bought this for you guys too. It's an 07 RMZ450, great bones. I think it ran out of oil, locked up. It's currently unable to be kickstarted or anything. So this is going to be one of the bikes in MXR Monthly. We're going to do a Carmichael tribute because I think that's the only way to save one of those. But anyways, it's on our way to the bench to check out the rest of your CR parts. Just know that's part of mXrevival Monthly. Can't wait to see who wins it. And down there we've got a little bit more stuff to clean, the old ultrasonic cleaner, a lot of electronics, whatever, things to go to Dean for coatings. And up top here we have all the guts from your engine. So we've got your transmission, shift forks, drum. Your crank's actually already been rebuilt. It's got a fresh Japanese rod and bearings in it, which is great. Power seal already sent back your cylinder. That thing's got a fresh bore. It's ready to go. They actually had to weld it too. We'll get more into that when we rebuild the engine together. Bunch of shift mechanisms, idler, water pump, drive gear, impeller. Got a full Henson clutch for you guys, which is great. We're going to go ahead and upgrade the old V-Force here. This is a Gen 1. It's not looking so hot. Then we've just got a few other things over here that's already vapor blasted, already zinc plated. You got your flywheel, it's vapor blasted. Looks really good. Cylinder head, we'll probably scrap that and get a nicer one for you guys from Lukey. Probably hit up Johnny at 2SM Performance and scrap that RC valve cover. Vapor blasted this guy here, your intake. Zinc plated all the hardware. Got your sprocket bolt there. Rocker for your exhaust valve. Exhaust valves themselves have already been vapor blasted. These are the bushings or the collars that go in the arse of your engine there. Little arm, shift arm, clutch lever arm, which is dialed in for you. All the studs for the cylinder and cylinder head, your exhaust flange, kickstarter, screw, all that stuff. So came up real nice. This is kind of where we're headed. All right, let's head back to the other side of the shop and get into those engine cases. What the hell? How did that get here? Can't even cross the dang shop without tripping over something sick for your bike. WUSA, thank you guys. These are your CR250 wheels. Got a little old school classic going on with the silver accels and red hubs. Of course, spacers and everything are in here too. These are going to look so good on your bike. Guys at Dunlop, thank you so much. Set of fresh MX34s for you guys. This thing, unreal. I cannot wait to find out who wins this, or this, or this, or this 04 RM250, or this. Anyway, it's time to get this heap into the Vapor Blaster. After that, talk to you guys about the first mXrevival Monthly giveaway. I think you're going to love it. Let's go ahead and get this thing in the vapor blasting cabinet. We'll pull a couple bolts out of this thing. And yuck. First thing we got to do is get some of that spooge off of there. This is running out of the engine from the exhaust port. Using a plastic razor blade because it won't mar up the cases. Something cool I learned from Dino over at Fast Blast and Coat. You guys can get these on Amazon for dirt cheap and you'll get way more than you can even use. So check that out. Another thing I want to do is get a powder coating plug lodged in here. This is the clutch arm bearing. Usually try and salvage those. If these aren't the right size, you can kind of trim the butts off of them, and I'm already familiar with what kind of fits in there. And then on the other side, you have the back of that clutch arm bearing. So this is where one of your transmission shafts rides, and we can put some duct tape over this area, making sure it's nice and clean and dry. A little brake clean will do the trick, and that area will be masked off. Brake cleaner, Just a nice little wipe here. Duct tape, go ahead and drop that in there, and then you can trim off the extra wherever it's hanging into other areas, because the vapor blaster can sort of knock it off. I need to redo that, but you get the point. All right, she's dialed in. She's all plugged up, and let's go ahead and get this thing in the old vapor blasting cabinet. All right, guys, we are in iPhone vision. I sure hope these clips jive up well with the other ones for this edit. I don't blow it. So we have our dirty case. We're gonna get blasting. I'll offer a few tips along the way when the compressor isn't blaringly loud, just what I'm doing and how I'm doing it if you guys are vapor blasting and you'd like to try any of this. So first of all, I am starting at 60 psi. This would be considered high in many cases, but because of the gun I have and the tip that's in it and my compressor and a mix of a bunch of other things that may not be of any relevance to you right now, this is a great cutting and polishing pressure. And then we're going to back it down from there and do a little bit more polishing after we get all the junk off. So fire it up. See if I can get a good shot for you. Just watch this stuff disappear. So obviously that didn't take much time. You can see it's already getting that stuff off. Now, you get a really trained eye after a while where that certainly isn't enough time in that spot. You'll be able to find dark grays, light grays, things you can barely discern between the finish you're going for and the finish you guys see right there. So after a while you get used to making sure everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. You don't have any blast lines or inconsistent areas. Get your blending down and it'll look like the other piece you saw earlier. So I'll be in here for about 45 minutes. I'm going to do a 2-stage vapor blast. If I'm going super crazy, I'll do what I call a 4-stage vapor blast. It's just a series of different pressures and distances from the part. As you guys can see at the 60, I'm also very close right now, and I'm also at about a 45-degree angle. So pay attention to that kind of thing. Not too bad when you're doing the 2-stage at a higher PSI. All right, guys, so I've made my way around the part. As you can see, looking pretty good. You guys can actually see a little bit of blast line haze, maybe, or maybe some difference in the surface sometimes right there as I twist this thing around in the light, but looking a lot better. I have not done the inside of the stator area yet, but all in all, pretty good. When I get inside of here, we're doing a very light dusting, maybe 3 inches away. I'm not riding it too hard unless I have a bad stain for some reason. Also, the gasket areas, you guys can see where that O-ring sits. It's probably hard to tell there's a gray line there, but you can run the gasket surface real close, just like you guys saw me doing out here on the exterior, you know, within maybe 3/4 inch away. So that's a little update on where we are so far. Once I get this gasket surface done, like I said, I'm going to be riding this real tight and getting all the grays and the stains and the blacks off of that. I'm going to jump into this disgusting mess in here. This is going to take a while. It may not come all the way off, and that's okay. As long as we don't have any actual debris in there, I'll be happy. Our plugs are holding up well. Same with the duct tape on the other side. That's another reason I'm going light in here. I don't want to penetrate that duct tape. Maybe something else, but not the duct tape. And I'll see you guys in a minute. We'll get into the blend phase, and I'll show you how this turns out in just a sec. So guys, this spot is a tough one. It's requiring a lot more than normal. I probably spent about as much time in there as I have on the rest of the entire part. And some of the spots just aren't going to come out. Hard to tell. Basically, I have some areas where the aluminum's somewhat, I wouldn't say eaten away, but a little bit eroded. So you get these pores, and maybe you guys can see it right in there, little black spot. See if I can get some light on that for you. But hopefully that's satisfactory enough for you guys, because that's where I'm stopping. Especially if this were like a customer job, when people setting stuff in. I try to be budget conscious, and I wouldn't want to blow an hour on the outside and then an hour in there unless I was instructed to. So if it was like hard to get off, I would just do my best and ask them if that was okay. So usually my school of thought there is just kind of trying to save the customer some money. But now that we've gotten to this point and all of our gasket surfaces have been ridden nice and close, we got most of the black crap out of there, certainly 99% of it, we can go ahead and do our blend phase. So what that requires is I'm still at the 60 psi, but I'm going to move my gun back few inches away, and I'm just going to sort of gently scrub and massage this piece. Still at an angle when I can get away with it, 45 or so. And I'm just going to slowly make my way around the part, just like this. So you guys can probably maybe see just that distance right there. That distance away right there. It's probably a little difficult to see, but just that alone is going to be a lot brighter, or a few shades at least, than say anywhere else. And I don't know if you can tell on camera. This is 60 close is what I call it. And that would be 60 far. So if I can let that down again on that hump right there above where the sprocket goes. And anyways, that's pretty much the gist of it. So I'm going to finish up my blend. Again, staying a little further away, keeping my angle still at 60 psi. If you guys want to go nuts, lower your pressure. And you can do it close again. So you get 60 close, 60 far. And then you can lower it down to say 30 or lower if you want and get close. And then do the blend again at a lower psi. And that's typically what I do for the 4-stage. And it gets freakishly bright. Now, the only reason you need to use that high cut PSI in the beginning, and again, a lot of this might not be relevant to your machine if you have different tooling, although it will still work, is because much lower than that, the job just tends to take forever. Like if I started at 40 and the case was that dirty, I would have just ridden the outside of that thing for a lot longer. So the 60 is cutting the dirt off a lot faster. I hope that makes sense. You can certainly ask me questions below, but this is yours. And as soon as this thing comes out, as soon as I'm done blending, we're going to talk about that giveaway for my new members of mXrevival Monthly. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. All right, I'm done with my blend. I've rinsed the part off. And the last thing I like to do here is pop the plug out. You guys can see there's still bead in there. It never fails. You can't fully avoid it, but this is better than packing a bunch of bead into the bearing. So we'll give that a rinse. I'll get the duct tape off. There, got the tape off. Just kind of flush that thing a few times. Now when you get the part out, of course we're going to dry it. You're going to blow a bunch of compressed air into those bearings, followed by some oil. Go ahead and get that bad boy out of there. Looking good. Blow it out with some compressed air. You guys can actually watch the water just completely evaporate. Well, there she is. Very nice. Guys, this is your engine. CR250, 2003, no stone unturned. Thing's going to rip and look absolutely factory. Guys, your engine. Looking a hell of a lot better than it did a few minutes ago, right? So stoked on this. I cannot be more pumped on these new beginnings and more pumped for you guys. So hopefully that taught you a little bit about vapor blasting. Of course, if you have any questions for me, you can always ask in the comments below. I'm happy to help. What do you think about that midnight bronze on the Honda? Damn, that's looking really good. Oh my gosh. So now that you guys have seen the cases transform and you can see how vapor blasting works, although I'm sure a lot of you already knew how it worked. I do a lot of it on this channel and a lot of it for you guys. That gets us into our giveaway. I'm going to go ahead and give away a free vapor blasting service to one of my lucky members this month. And we'll go ahead and figure out what that's going to be based off what you might have. If you have a set of brakes or if you have a set of engine cases, I'm going to go ahead and provide that for you guys free of charge. So I'm excited to find out who wins that and what I'm going to vapor blast for you. So get excited because as you can see, this never gets old. So guys, don't forget to check out mxrevival.com. Get yourself signed up for mXrevival Monthly. Like I said at the top of the video, the first 30 guys that make it over there and punch in first 30, that code at checkout, you'll be getting it for 10 bucks a month for an entire year. When you guys check that out on the website, you'll also be able to see what else I have cooking for you. I've got the 07 RMZ450. We've got the 04 RM250. We've got this 03 CR250 that you and I are working on today. I'm going to throw my 89 RM250 build into the mix. And I could have sworn I had another one. I'm not sure what it was off the top of my head. I do have a little list inside the web listing. And of course, this will be a revolving wheel. There will be more bikes coming and going all the time. Now, if you made it this far in the video and you were a Skill Shack member, Skill Shack is officially closing today. We're also giving away the YZ125 over there on that channel today as well. ultimately, Tony and I failed each other as business partners, and in order to salvage whatever's left of that friendship, the best thing to do was to go our own separate ways. And honestly, I couldn't be happier, because it wouldn't be right for either one of us if we kept going. He would have been miserable. I would have been miserable. We probably would have killed each other. So I'm rolling all these bikes into the mXrevival monthly that were over there at Skill Shack because I owned them anyways. But having said all that, without going into too much of a deep dive, I have something special for you guys. Just reach out to me via email. It's a different kind of a code. The most important thing to me is that I feel like you guys are owed these bikes. And so, like I said, I have something specifically for you. So if you were an MX Skill Shack member, use the contact link on the website, reach out to me. I have something better than I've offered otherwise so far. I really appreciate you guys being a part of MX Skill Shack. It was a good time while it lasted. It just didn't end up being such a great time in the end. So either way, I'm unleashed. There's no red tape in front of me. We're going to kick some ass and finish all these builds and many more for you guys. So at any rate, thank you all for watching. mXrevival guys, MX Skill Shack guys, you if it's your first time here. And having said all that, guys, I will catch you in future videos. The $15 RM250, the $15 RMZ450, the $15 CRF450. Also have a free pit bike giveaway going on over at mXrevival right now as well. It requires nothing from you. Just sign up for it. It's a token of my appreciation for you guys. Like I always say, I appreciate you so much. There's just a little something, a little E-Start pit bike for you or your kids or whoever wins it. And signing off, I'm so excited, guys. I can't put it into words. I'm so grateful for this life. I hope you're excited about what's going on too. I will catch you in the next video. Shred safe, and I will see you soon. Actually, I'll see you at mxrevival.com. Catch you in the next one.